Whoa, 500 subs? I have no idea what to even do to celebrate. This came way too fast. So, anyone have any ideas? I'm out of them. When we last left off, undeserved, underdeveloped plot points got a massive upgrade. With Curry Boy gone, Daiji could finally develop as a character. I take that back, as he stays in his usual lane, but manages to fend off Orteca, who gets uncharacteristically frustrated, in which Vale has zero tolerance for. Vale then, as a floating PNG... Look, this effect is so easy to do. Look, I'm gonna do it right now. Watch.
This is not what I signed up for.
Hush, fool! Go back! See? Anyway, Vale tells the Igarashi siblings that Gifu is almost back, and it's really thanks to their efforts. Every victory for them is lunchtime for Gifu. And with that, Vale continues his game of musical drivers. Will he go back to the Vale driver? Or somewhere else? Actually, who has the Vale driver now? Boo-san? Kamen Rider Boo, coming on up. Vice starts losing it, transforming fully into jacked Revice. Also, am I the only one who hates Vice's dubbing over Iki? Like, either his voice actor or Iki's actor just aren't mouthing it in sync. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but didn't Deno pull this off virtually flawlessly? It's been like 3 episodes of this, and it still hasn't gotten any better. Sakura and Daiji double rider kick Vice right out of it, as George takes back the Demon's driver. They all reconvene at the Happy Spa. Sakura got that Gifu level hunger. Just saying. And they debate if it's even worth continuing on, and seeing if their efforts are even worth it. While Vice suffers an identity crisis, Mama-chan shows up and gives us more plot details of the upcoming special Revice Legacy Kamen Rider Vale, available on March 27th. After further spoiling that special for the audience, and having so long of a family hug that I guess George just walks away completely, and avoided running into the Ushijima as they... Damn, well, that happened. So the rest of the episode, we really get retreaded backstory on what's been going on, just explained to other characters. First, Orteca starts talking like the villain of a JRPG, detailing that he's so smart that he's been aware of everything on the back end from the start, and he would just remake the world in his image. Meanwhile, Weekend Base gives us the full scoop on Fenix, in which we kind of already knew. Fenix was never in it for the Deadmans. They were in it for Gifu's revival the whole time. They do also reveal the reason why they sought after Sakura, and that's because Daiji and Iki were already inducted by Fenix. But in the end, their reveal to the rest of the Igarashi family just felt weak. Speaking of Gifu, he's hungry as fuck and just starts tearing through Fenix employees and civilians faster than Daiji's character development, eating anyone and everyone except the one who wants to get ate out the most. Oh my god, did I just say that? Aguilera. I've had too much caffeine. Too much caffeine. Orteca is still stamping the mess out of civilians to make giftarians. That's when Sakura and Daiji show up to reused footage from last week's episode and the beginning of this episode. It's literally the same footage. Also, weren't you just running, but you stop to henshin and then go back to running? Come on now. This moment just sucked me right out of the scene. While all this is going on, Iki Vice have been dealing with their own identity crisis, going as far as Iki asking Vice if he even is Gifu. However, due to Gifu's influence, he can't control himself and transforms back to jacked Revice. Seeing all of this, George knows that it's time to act. He takes his new Vice stamp and... the Demon's Driver? Okay, in all honesty, this episode was mid as hell for me. The plot is almost at a standstill after Vale's debut. We're just treading on familiar ground here, and the amount of copium in the air is completely dense. At this point, just give us Gifu's resurrection already, because I know the second he shows up, we're gonna get really into the weeds of the backstory here. This is a C-level episode. The hypest part of this whole episode was really George picking up that Demon's Driver at the very end. And look, I know that's gonna end up being a cop-out, because he's not actually gonna henshin. I'd lose my shit if he does, but I know it's not gonna happen. The Demon's Driver has no demon in it. And that's probably the part of the reason why he's not going to be able to transform. Daiji is such a lackluster character that they even reused his transformation from last episode in here. He might as well be a Sentai right now in terms of how he henshins. Or someone from Saber. I mean, at least if next week's episode is another dud, we at least have the Veil special to look forward to. Not to be a downer, like I said, this episode was just mid for me. Like, I didn't leave surprised, I didn't leave with higher expectations or anything. We are kind of flatlining in terms of the plot. We had the huge high that was Veil's reveal, but then after that, it's just been stagnant. But these are just my opinions. What did you think about this episode? Change my mind. Is this episode actually a banger and I just don't see it? How did you feel about Orteca going all Kylo Ren temper tantrum just to go JRPG villain? How about Ikivice? Do you want them to just split back up again, or is this dynamic working for you? Because I can only tell you how much I can tolerate being like this. Also, George, there's no Veil in that driver, so no henshin. No henshin, right? Anyway, that is it for me. I look forward to your comments, and until next week, bye. Veil special and Revice 28. I don't know how I'm gonna survive next week. Also, I'm waiting until like episode 5 to do another Dom Brothers review. I'm just waiting for all the characters to get fleshed out a little more so I can really dig into this season. So, we'll see how that ends up playing out. Until then,